just gonna preface this with, I'm sorry. It's gonna be all jumbled up, a lot of information, bear with me. We have a lot to go over, so let's get started. So today, The Sims had a live stream that showcased some of the gameplay for the new Werewolf pack, and I feel like they kind of left us hanging. It was rushed and a little unorganized, kind of slow at the beginning with showing off the cast system, and then a little bit of gameplay. Not impressed. And then at the end, it was just starting to get good, and they were going over a lot of information, then end of stream. Lore was not spoiled, and I'm kind of mad about that because I love a little bit of juicy lore. Lore, but we did get to see what happens when a normal sim gets bitten and turned into a werewolf. We got a tiny taste of what Fury is, the new abilities, skill tree, and what happens after your first time turning into a werewolf. Hint, you butt naked. You can select any ability from any of those tiers in that new skill tree. We met Greg in this live stream, and the Sims guru went over that new tunneling system, which is kind of cool. We learned that this tunneling system is actually a buyable object in build buy mode. And we could actually have access to this system even out of Moonwood Mill. Like, you could put this in your lot and you could literally go underground without having to go to like the open world area to find a tunnel. It allows a little bit more storytelling from your own lot. The Sims gurus touched upon the new aspiration system for werewolves. So there's only one you can pick up from the caste system, but then there are multiple ones that are unlockable as you further go on. You're actually able to progress further from this initial aspiration, which I think is a great system instead of just having the basic tutorial aspiration. Here you go. This is what you want. Here's how to achieve it. Yada, yada, yada. They also touched barely on this new skill tree. So kind of like vampires have that skill tree where you can level up your vampire, get different abilities and all that stuff. Werewolves have this too. And it's really nice because you can select any of these new abilities from any of the tiers that you want, unless it is locked by a prerequisite skill. So if you wanted, let's say, tunneling or something like that, you need to have prerequisites to get that skill. That's shown by a connecting bracket on the side of that skill. But everything else is fair game, unless it has a connecting bracket. We were shown the new Moonwood Mill map. And essentially, there's 5 playable lots that we can use for building and whatnot. In a tweet by SimGuru Nova, they gave us the dimensions of these lots. This is great, because we can actually start building objects now. We can just plop into our game when we get this game pack. On a later tweet, they did expand upon not having a lot of buildable lots. It allows the game to actually have more of an open world feel. So you do have areas that you can go through that are all connected without a loading screen, which is excellent. It allows gameplay to move a little bit smoother. It allows the lore to be followed and pulled on that string. Though it limits builders and how we can change things, but we'll get around it with our storytelling. I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of Let's Plays on what can happen, what's gonna happen, and all the collectibles and did I say lore? Lore. One of the really disappointing things that we did see was this massive glitching. When a sim turned into a werewolf, they get what's called Fury. So essentially, it's like a buildup of rage. And the first time you turn into a werewolf, you're gonna get all this fury and you essentially just destroy stuff. And they had the werewolf go down a set of stairs, and it was like, and they ran to the stairs angrily, and as they got on the stairs, it was like, boop, 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 boop. And then on the platform, again, the werewolf sim was just like, all rage, and then it was like, I'm gonna casually walk down these stairs. So that's a little bit of a miss for me. I know it's small details like that, but the massive glitching like that really takes me out of the storytelling. It was just kind of like a, oh, okay. To review some of the tweets that are been going back and forth between simmers asking questions to the gurus, we're going to touch up on a few of these things. So a tweet was brought up that there are no new lot traits or challenges for this game pack. It's kind of sad because vampires had a lot trait, but I mean, there's only so much you can do, and it seems like they packed a whole bunch in here. A question was asked, are other occults able to join a pack? And no, only werewolves can join a pack, but the only way to get around that is to have your occult sim humanize themselves and get back into being a normal sim, and then become a werewolf and join a pack. That's a long roundabout way to actually become a werewolf if you are a vampire or a spellcaster or something like that, to go back to being a normal sim, then become a wolf and join a pack. Makes sense to me. If you're going to be in a pack, you'd want to be a werewolf. You can be a friend of a pack. I don't know if the occult sims can be friends of a pack. There seems to be a lot of beef between all these occults, which that they did touch a little bit upon, but definitely gonna have to flesh out all those storylines and pull that string on that lore. We have a major update on a new death. So it seems like, I don't know if there's just one or multiple, but they did touch upon the stream that you don't want your sim to die in the stages of turning into a werewolf, because the sim that got bitten had to continuously eat because their hunger bar just kept depleting. And it seemed like a 2-hour moodlet or a 4-hour moodlet pops up, one getting more drastic than the other as they start to turn into a werewolf. And it was a small comment of, oh, you don't want them to die. So I'm guessing that's where it is. If during your stages of turning into a werewolf, if you don't fill your hunger bar, you're gonna starve to death, essentially. And your body's just gonna kind of be consumed by this werewolf thing. The other thing that may happen is something called werebees. So they did touch upon this in the stream, where if you ask a werewolf friend to bite you, you don't get what's called werebees. So essentially it's a play on the word rabies. But if you get bitten by someone like Greg, or in a fight that you lose by a werewolf, you do contract werebees. I don't know if we can die from werebees. There seems like there is a cure at that little bar that they have in the game, but I don't know if you could die from werebees. So we'll have to see on that. They did confirm that you cannot die from your fury rampage, because it seems like you really can't get away from your fury. So there is a skill you can learn called Somber Howl. Being a werewolf is hard, and sometimes the sim has just got to speak their truth. They'll be able to release a somber howl from time to time to calm down and reduce their fury. So you have to learn this, and actually you can control your fury, which is nice, instead of just having these massive rampages all the time. So also talked about children Todds cannot really turn into werewolves. They can be werewolves, so you can have werewolf babies, and these children Todds can actually carry the werewolf gene, but they can't really turn into werewolves until I believe their teen years. But children and Todds do get new interactions, especially related to the moon. During the live stream today, they did talk about how children are gonna like bite their toys, or they get more satisfaction out of fighting their siblings. So part of their fury is starting to grow in their bodies, but probably not anything that we can actually play until we're teenagers. The last thing I really want to touch upon about the werewolves is, in a tweet it was pointed out that Greg is wearing a wedding band. It is very visible in his werewolf form, so it's very interesting of what's going on with Greg. Because he seems to be kind of a menace in Moonwoodville, and everyone's kind of like taken aback by this guy. But it was teased today from a sim guru that there is lore between Greg and Vlad. Do you think they could possibly be married at one point? Vladdy Daddy and a werewolf? Wouldn't that be just like crazy? We're gonna have to figure out what this lore is between these two characters, between these two sims, but there's definitely interactions and playable things that you can do between all these occults, and it seems that especially vampires, little Twilight thing might be going on. And just to kind of round out what we're talking about, a lot of people have been asking about body hair and whatnot, and the sim gurus did say that body hair will be coming to the base game update soon, and it won't be exclusively in this werewolf pack. And when they say soon, sometimes, who the heck knows? My guess is there's going to be a patch to the game on this upcoming Tuesday to kind of flesh out the moon cycles and some of the other small little updates that they need to do to patch the game pack to the base game. But I don't think that body hair is just ready yet for this patch, but we shall see. I have been surprised before, and I have been let down before. If I missed anything, let me know in the comment section. What are you most excited for in this game pack? There was a lot to unpack today, a lot to go over. It just seems like there's going to be more hints dropped every day until this game pack is released. Except for lore, which I'm mad about. Thanks for listening in, and I'll see you later. Another point